All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, markets here today with a little gap and crap. So, I talked to you guys about this yesterday. I said, I just don't think the markets are ready to break out, even if NVIDIA beats earnings. And I said, if we do try to gap up, it's going to be pretty short-lived. And you can see the Qs here did exactly that. So down $2 there on the triple Qs. A little bit of a gap and crap day. I said that may happen. This is a really strange session. And I was making some sarcastic jokes about NVIDIA yesterday, but seriously, I don't think I've seen a stock that is actually has this much power in the market. And and yes, I'm talking about including Apple. This stock, look at the heat map today. Imagine if NVIDIA was just up 1%. We probably would have been down at least a percent and a half on the Q, or a percent and a half, 2% on the Qs, and probably 1.5% on the SPX. It's absolutely remarkable. So look what happened today. We had this gap up, and just kind of got pinned, floated towards the 1050 area on the on Nvidia. But I want you to look at some of these other stocks intraday. It's chip stocks. AMD got roasted. SMCI got roasted. ARM got roasted. It came back by the end of the day. Intel got roasted. All these chips, KLA 10 core, AMAT, they all were gap and crap. But NVIDIA wasn't. Broadcom got smacked. TSM managed to hold up. So it was kind of NVIDIA and TSM. But then look at all these other sectors, sectors I talk about every day in here. Look at what XHB was doing today. XHB got hit. KRE, Dow Transports, XLF, all decently red today. I've seen this happen before, where they're kind of using one or two stocks to prop the market up, but I don't think I've seen it to the extent of what NVIDIA is. I mean, NVIDIA is the market, and Apple. I've seen situations where Apple, in the past, maybe saved the market with earnings. The market wasn't doing good, and then Apple saved the market with a good report, or Apple's leading stocks higher, so everything else kind of gets like a residual bid. Now, it's like nothing matters. If NVIDIA's up, the market's fine. And it's absolutely, I don't think I've seen anything this powerful. And I don't think I've ever seen anything that's as much of a fat, absolute greaseball, bloated pig of a stock than NVIDIA. This is like absolute greed at its finest here. For a company that, like, it would be one thing if it was $100 billion market cap, but it's, what, 2.5 trillion now? So it's just absolutely insane. Now, did it top out today? Maybe. Pretty good volume there. You're out completely outside of that daily BB. You also saw the SOX coming in to double top there, and that did back off of that. We had the SMH, which is NVIDIA, even more so than the stock market. That finished green because NVIDIA's a bigger part of it, and it finished above that red bar high. We'll see where it ends tomorrow, but just crazy action. So again, going back to the markets here to get into the details of it. Again, gap and crap. We weren't ready to break out. I told you guys we need that 20 MA to catch up to price. I still think that needs to happen. Could that happen tomorrow? We go hit it and then we're good? Yeah, it's possible. Could we go a little bit below it? That's also possible too. We did have a good outside move today, but we did hold the green bar low. We held the previous all-time high on a closing basis. If you want to back check it to SPY, it's the same thing. We held the green bar low and the all-time high. So that was back tested technically. And again, volume here is not very heavy. So if this type of reversal had taken place with 100 million, I would say there's probably likely a market top in place. But right now, as long as we're pulling back on light volume, we got to give the market the upside bias. I've been begging for this pullback here. I've been begging for a shakeout. I've been talking about that every day. We haven't been getting one. It's just been, the market's just been asleep. And finally, I think things just got too stretched to one side, as we saw this morning with the Qs. Market getting a little ahead of itself, and seeing it have to come back to earth here, maybe reset sentiment a little bit. So that's kind of my thoughts here. We could pull back a little bit more, perhaps. We could also gap and go, right? I've seen this. We have seen this bull do that. Right back here, one off down day after a big move, right up. One off down day after a big move inside of this consolidation. One off down day led to nothing. One off down day led to nothing. Right. So, you know, again, making what makes this one different is you had a significant uptick in volume prior to that. We've been pulling back on declining volume here. So, again, that's kind of how I'm looking at it here. We may need to do more backing and filling, as I've said, but I think that's really all it is in the grand scheme of things. So, Russell, yeah, so Q's down 0.5%. IWM, that took a hit, although it did come off the lows. It was down about 2% at one point, but now finishing down 1.64, holding the 50 MA. It's a lot of chop going on. I'm going to get rid of the 205 area. We've traded through it so much. 200, 210, that's still our range right now. And the weekly time frame, still just a really choppy pattern here. The monthly, still got that green bar here, and we're just consolidating beneath resistance. So I'm watching the Russell here, going into summer. Diamond here took a pretty good hit, down 1.5. Again, doesn't have that special NVDA weighting. It's price cap weighted. So hitting the 20 MA, pretty good outside move for the Dow. Definitely good outside move. You got the 50 and then the 100 below that. Let me just take a fib here too, because we probably got it close to a 50%. Yeah, we're close to a 50% fib there for the Dow. And then there's your 618. So those would be further retrace levels. We talked about the SMH. Obviously, we'd be watching that red bar high for tomorrow's close. Same thing with the SOX. It looks like that should hold on a weekly. All right, so IGV, again, down 76 cents. Testing the trend line, and it's holding up. I still really like how the weekly looks, though. I like you closing above that breakdown bar, and yeah, it could be setting up a base here. So IGV okay. Dow transports are still really out of shape. So just very weak here. It came off the lows by the end of the day, but just not a good chart. And you know, it is diverging from the SPX. To be fair, again, the transports haven't gone anywhere in 3 years. So we kind of take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it could be indicating that maybe we have to do, like I've been saying, more backing and filling before the next trend leg. By the way, when we break out of this range, it's going to be, you know, we're going to move 150 points really quickly. We've been in this tight range here for a week now. And if you, well, I was telling the trading room earlier, if you just take away the first 20 minutes of the day, we're still just doing what we've been doing for, since last Wednesday. So if you just exclude that little gap up, we haven't done anything special really with today's action. Just inside of this range still. All right, rates here, caught a bid today. We had PMIs, and that came out a little hotter than expected. That took the market for a loop because everybody was all gung-ho about NVIDIA, and then 945. You get some good old economic data, good pop there in yields, and 2-year getting a good bid. We will get more inflation data tomorrow with Michigan. That's always a good algo mover. It's good for day trading. Again, we talked about 490 area, and that's where it's back testing right now in the twos. Again, it's almost as if somebody said this over and over and over and over again, but it's as if rates are causing the market to pull back. Ever since we hit that trend line on the 10-year, I've been talking about that possibility. Could be conducive to a market pullback. And we're seeing rates up. Not a lot of room here for the 30-year. And if we can close above that red bar, I think this does go higher. And it looks like it wants to. So, again, markets could have to pull back a little bit longer. The 10s already did it. By the way, dollar holding up and it's into resistance. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so XHB, a pretty good sell, right? So we went up into the 110. I didn't think it was going to hold. I told you, I gave you guys that level. I didn't think it was going to hold, and it did. So we're right up there, and we're back outside this channel again. So again, maybe 102, we'll say, with the 100 MA here in the short term. Just a short-term level, and if it continues down, we're looking at 97. But pretty good back off there for XHB. Yeah, VNQ down 2% today as well. Again, another lower high. Not a good chart. So definitely not a good chart here. I don't even know what I would say here. Maybe, yeah, 80, 81 right now. I'll just say that in the short term. but not a good chart there. XLF, again, we talked about that earlier. Good sell there, down 58 cents, 1.38% decline. No real problems though, right? Like trend is still up, it looks fine. Yeah, maybe a little double top-ish, but it's not like anything's broken here. KRE, again, that trend line held up like a charm. Now it's back testing that level again. So banks were definitely on the weaker side today. Again, KBE it was trying to break out last week, and pretty good outside move this week. Again, doesn't mean you can't just have another higher low and then just go up and break out, but definitely a little bit weaker. Broker dealers also pulling back here. Again, 620 is just short-term support right now. And oil today is in trouble. So oil down 70 basis points. But we're back below that trend line, and we back tested it today. So that's not good. We're bear flagging. I got a target of around 74. That may be a buy area, depending on how much we consolidate here. So oil definitely on the weaker side right now. XLE on the weaker side. That chart is definitely getting worse. We talked about that yesterday with the failed breakout. Same thing with XOP and OAH. These will lead to buying opportunities though. CCJ holding up, but still down 45 cents on the day. Nothing terrible. Excuse me. URNM down $1. Again, nothing terrible here either. These weekly charts are still really good. Nat gas got really close. Look what happened. It got almost up to 320. I was waiting for that to pull the trigger on a short, and it just didn't get there. So I do like that 320 area if we can get there. Maybe even a little higher. I wouldn't rule it out. When nat gas shorts get squeezed, they get squeezed. They can go higher than you think. But it is getting a little bit to an extreme. Maybe it topped out today. I'm not sure. But pretty good extension there for nat gas. I'm looking at the July contract, by the way. But getting a little top heavy here, and again, kind of coming into, we're getting close to seasonality where it starts to slow down. Typically, May to June, you get that summer cooling demand, to build up, and then once they have their storage, they stop, and then it drops back down. Dollar index. Above 105, above the red bar. Well, 105.06. Yeah, just closed below it. So we didn't close above that. We close above that, that's a failure, and the dollar will go higher. So careful with the dollar here. Gold down 2.5. Gold took a pretty good hit the last couple of days. Again, maybe got a little ahead of itself. I talked about silver not being healthy with the parabolic move. That's pulling back. That should lead to a buying opportunity. Same thing with platinum. That gets interesting around that 20 MA. If we can get there tomorrow, I actually like it. And then palladium here, just still been in a range for a while. And copper here, bouncing off the 20. That may get a bid. It does need to shake out more, though. It's still way, 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 way overdone on the weekly. All right. So Bitcoin here, still pretty quiet, and it's holding up okay. Still looking for a slight new all-time high right now on this. And again, a little pullback day inside of the green bar. It can flag and go higher. There's nothing wrong here. There hasn't been anything wrong with it in a long time. Same thing with ETH. ETH holding up. Got a lot of positive news coming in. So I really like that big outside move too. I like how you closed above those pivots. So crypto's looking okay. So again, tomorrow, expect even lighter volume. It is a 3-day weekend, Memorial Day, so be aware of that. They're probably there's probably not going to be a lot of participation, and that could be conducive to more upside with light volume. We'll see what we get. I wouldn't be against a little bit more of a pullback here. I think that lead to a buying opportunity. There is the seeds for that to happen. Again, yields upticking a little bit. We saw today. I mean, if NVIDIA was just flat, this market would have been down a lot. So there's definitely something going on there underneath the hood, potentially. They definitely used NVIDIA to prop this market up today. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to, break down or anything. I do think the next dip will be a good buying opportunity, if we even get one. We've seen this market kind of just consolidate sideways. It's very strong. They're pumping a ton of liquidity into it. And I'm not interested in fighting Janet Yellen. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.